Yeah.
Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing great. A very warm welcome to the Expert Edge Masterclass, proudly brought to you by Shine.com. We are so excited to have you with us as we dive into our topic Introduction to Flutter for Cross Platform App Development. Flutter developers are in huge demand in 2025, and this demand is only going to grow. More and more companies from startup to big tech giants are choosing Flutter because it is fast, cost efficient, and delivers an amazing user experience. This means tons of jobs opportunities, freelance gigs, and exciting projects for those who know how to build with Flutter. If you are looking to start a career in app development or level up your skills, now is the perfect time to learn Flutter. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced developer, today's session will help you get started and build confidence in using Flutter. But before we jump into, let me quickly introduce myself. I am Preeti, your host, and now let me introduce someone who truly excel in this field, Mr. Guru. He is an entrepreneur, Google Facilitator, and tech speaker with 10 years of industry experience across 40 plus programming language and multiple industries. He is passionate about technology and loves sharing his knowledge with the community. With a strong ambition to support the startup ecosystem, Guru brings deep expertise in Flutter and mobile app development. Today, he is here to share real world insights on building a cross platform app with Flutter. So, stay engaged, ask questions, and make the most of this opportunity to learn from an industry expert. Without further delay, let's welcome Mr. Guru to lead today's session. Over to you, Guru.
Thank you. Thank you, Priti. So it was a great introduction. Thank you very much. So yeah, starting about me, uh, I'm a developer. I'm a technocrat in software industry. I love to learn new technologies, new frameworks apart from my business. And I have a dream to add some of my expertise, some of my knowledge, driving the industry further. Like we are going into an era of AI, so it's my dream to uh, be a big part of it. So thank you very much for the introduction. So we'll start with the topic specifically, which is Flutter. So before coming to Flutter, I believe I will tell a small story about the revolution of the software, how it started. So the references I'll give may not be exact the years because I'm not a historian. Maybe I forget some of the exact facts, but yeah, I'll tell you the story. So I think around 1945 around the time, Charles Babbage invented the differential engine, which is the computer. So computer was at that time a very big and taking, uh, I think, a size of a very big building. And at that time, you have to add small transistors, where every small transistor is a very either true or false. It returns true or false. So to do any small simple function, it took days to implement it. And then we come across the 60s or 70s when people started developing a new technology called microprocessor programming, where we have created microprocessors which will do complex tasks of which was taking around months, now taking days. So in the microprocessor, people started to write some codes which we call nowadays assembly level programming, assembly level languages, which are like to push, pop, print. So some small commands were there, and there are some binary languages which are not readable by the human were there. So people are writing that. So to do a very small function which you are doing it right now in a minute was taking days or maybe hours. So then in the middle of 80s or 90s, there is a new programming language introduced. So I'll give you a hint. So one person, what he did is he just combined all the assembly level languages and put them into one library and called it header files. And if you want to use any complex operation which took days, you can just call some small functions within the header files and you can use them. So yeah, like you already noticed header files. So it is the C language, which we call mother of all programming languages right now. So it is nothing. It is just a combination of all the assembly level languages, all the thousands of lines of code used in the header files. And we are just calling it up from our language. That's it. So which the task which are taking days and days and the repetitive tasks, we just created small functions, we just created small header files, and we have just used it to write code. To print, it was taking hundreds of lines. But after introduction of C, we just used printf to print anything on the screen. So again, days gone by, and like it's a human tendency. We always try to evolve. We always try to learn something new. We always try to minimize our task. Some of two of the scientists, what they've done is they've introduced a new technology or a new concept where they thought if we are building softwares, we are building applications. Why we are building them? We are building them for humans, or we are building them to solve some real life situations, some real life problems. So why the language is not looking similar like the real life problems? Why it is looking something different? So they thought of a new concept where we are combining the programming skills with the real life scenarios, with the real life objects, which we called object oriented programming. OOP. So object oriented programming is not a new technology or not a new language. It's just a concept where they're told that look, just whatever you're seeing, whatever you're experiencing in the real world, let's write our code according to that. So it will be very much useful and very much easy to solve complex real life problems. So at that time, C was the only and one famous language. So what they did is they combined the object-oriented concept with C, and they built a new language or a new semi-language, which we know as C++. So C++ is nothing, not a new language. It's just a language C plus object-oriented concepts. So again, days gone by after 10, 12 years in 96 or 97. So some scientists, they further thought, okay, so now we have a language which is derived from C, which is just an extension of C with some object-oriented concepts. So let's build something which will be purely object-oriented, which will be completely developed from scratch and will be purely object-oriented. So what they've done is, in Sun Microsystems, they built a new language called Java, which is built on top of C and C++. So, uh, and it was purely object oriented. So, a lot of people used it. So, Java was called the king of all programming languages. So, where it all began from Java from 1997, at that time, the dot-com boom was happening in US, and we all learned, not we all, some older people than us, learned HTML, CSS. So first they learned HTML. They built some really ugly websites using HTML, which you can also see right now, some examples in internet. It was just looking like a boy doesn't have any knowledge of painting, just painting a very ugly painting. It just looked like that. So after that, after some time, we introduced CSS, which is the cascading style sheet. which was used to beautify the websites which you are building in HTML. Then again, after 3-4 years, we learnt a new language. We created a new language called JavaScript. So first of all, those who think that Java and JavaScript are same, JavaScript is just a script of Java. No. Java, JavaScript. There are two different languages. Two different, complete different languages. If I am calling Ram and Parsuram, that doesn't mean they're the same person, just because they are the Ram. So it is always, you have to remember that there are two different languages, there are two different use cases, there are completely two different syntaxes, everything is different. The creators are different, their purpose of existence is different, everything is different. So why JavaScript was used? Because in the modern day browsers, when we have built a website in HTML and CSS, it was looking good. It was looking very much like the animations were good, but there was no functionality. Like people started to interact with the website at that time. So we needed something which will be used to interact with the users, interact with the visitors. So we created JavaScript, which is not compilable language. It is directly interpretable. So when you write a JavaScript code, you don't need to compile it like Java or any other programming language. You can just write your code and run it in the browser and it will run simply. It's very easy. So JavaScript was used. So let's say there is a button in your website and you want to click on it and you want some splash will happen. So you can write it using JavaScript. Let's say you have a button and let's say you have a text field. You want to build a calculator. There are two text field and a text box where you'll see the result. After you type it, you'll see the result. So you can use it in JavaScript. Every website right now is built using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Without JavaScript, you cannot build a website. So JavaScript is that much important. So after 2000s, the dot-com boom happened, the dot-com bubble just burst, and a lot of websites just get vanished after 2000. So then people started to learn what it is to create real responsive and good user experience based websites. So every company started to create a website. Right now, I think whether it is an IT company or whether it is a billion-dollar company or whether it is a startup created by students, everyone does have a website. Website is a compulsory. Website is your digital signature. So there was an era where everyone started thinking building a website. Then I think in early 2005, 6 or 7, a new operating system was introduced. And with that, mobile internet was very much famous. So it is called Android. So when Android operating system was introduced, iOS was before that, but it was not that much of famous because it is kind of a luxury thing to have. But after the purchase of the introduction of Android by Google, so a lot of new windows got opened and people started to learn that, yeah, right, after 10 years, maybe after 10, 15 years, people are going to have an Android phone for sure. So they started thinking, whatever websites we have built, so let's create a similar experience in the mobile app as well. So they have started creating Android apps and iOS apps for themselves. So there is an era which we call technically everything to mobile. So everybody started creating a mobile app, which is still going on. But yeah, it was a thing in the early 2010s, 2012, 2013, around that time. So after that, uh, everyone started thinking about a new term which you guys are already learning is AI, artificial intelligence. So right now, this era we are living in is called everything to AI. So whether you are having a mobile app, whether you are having a website, Whether you are having a desktop application, whatever, you have to have a AI in your thing. Some people are misusing it, maybe. People are just using the word AI, having a very, very simple if-else condition, and they are calling it AI just to drag the attention of the people. But yeah, AI is a thing right now. So we are living in an era called everything to AI. So whatever technology we learn, whatever solution we build, we have to think about the intelligence of our system, which should customizable and which is intelligent enough to give specific solutions to specific users. So basically, that's the whole idea of our history, from where we started, from 1010, from assembly level languages. Right now, we are building everything to AI. So this session will help you understand why it is important, what is most important thing in the mobile application development, how we can build it, when is the right time, who are the right people to target. All the WH questions will be answered in this session. So if I'll zoom in the everything to mobile era, it will look like Android was developed by Google, not by Google. So it is kind of a joint venture in from all 10 or 15 different companies. But then later Google just annexed it. So right now Google is the parent company of Android. So when the Android operating system was introduced, there was a new framework introduced, which was based out of Java, and it was introduced by Google. By learning it, it was called J2ME. Like you learned, if you already learned Java, it was called J2SE, Java to Simple Edition. The advanced Java, which is J2EE, Java to Enterprise Edition, which is used to build enterprise level web applications. Then it was the Android one was called J2ME, Java to Mobile Edition. So if you already learn Java, you can just go and you can just create mobile applications with Java. Similarly, in iOS, we have a language called Swift and Objective-C. So you can just learn Objective-C and Swift, and you can just design iOS applications. But then a time came where some companies like Meta, Microsoft, what they thought of was, let's build some technology where people can write once and use them all over the application, all over the different operating systems. Like Meta introduced a new language. So I think everyone has all heard about a language called React, which is the most important technology in the web right now. So similarly, Meta or Facebook introduced a new language called React Native to build cross-platform mobile application. So what is cross-platform mobile application? So cross-platform mobile application is where you will write a code in a language once, and you can build your application for Android and iOS together. So if you are an entrepreneur, if you want to create your own company, maybe today or maybe sometime in the future, maybe you are a developer who is managing the whole application for a startup. Maybe you are a person who is going to work for a big company where there are multiple applications in hand. So the more different code bases you will handle, the more complexity, the more confusion it will have. So when we'll talk about the cross-platform mobile applications, we just need to handle only one code base where we can get multiple applications together. So I think around 2014-15, the cross-platform mobile technology was got famous. After that, everybody started developing their own application framework. Like Meta started developing definitely the first one, which is the React Native. Then there was a language called AngularJS. So the parent company of AngularJS, I cannot remember exactly, but they have started developing a technology called Ionic. Then then Microsoft, they have started to bend their .NET platform into it. So they have started a new technology called Xamarin. Then comes the final term of Google. Because Google developed the operating system and maintaining the operating system Android, so it knows all the ins and outs of the technology of the operating system. So it knew how to build best quality performance applications for Android and also, of course, for iOS. So it created a new technology called Flutter. So Flutter was pretty new in the market in comparison with other technologies like React Native and Xamarin and Ionic. But it is more famous than that. Like if you compare React Native with Flutter, Flutter is like India, where React Native is like US. React Native is already matured because it is going on from last 10, 12 years. But uh, Flutter is like India, is the largest and the fastest growing economy. So Flutter, for the last 3 years, Flutter is the top ranking framework in GitHub for the cross-platform development. So if we'll compare Flutter with other frameworks, why we should choose Flutter? Flutter is very easy to work. If you're coming from a Java background, if you're coming from a React Native background, if you're coming from a JavaScript background, whether you're coming from a .NET background, you will be able to learn it within days. So I have learned it within 2 days. So you can definitely learn it using any open source tutorials uh, or any tutorials like Shine.com also provides this technology. You can learn that. So it will not take, if you study hard, it will not take more than 4 or 5 days to learn the basics and start developing it. Then if because it is developed by Google, you will get the best performance for Android, and the performance in iOS will be similar to other cross-platform frameworks. So that is pretty much it. So I have prepared a very small PPT which will go through. Then we'll jump right into the code. What is the structure of Flutter? How we can start and how we can write our first code. And I will show you how we can write 10 lines of code to develop our first mobile application. So let me share my screen. Okay. So let me know once you see my screen. It's visible, right?
Yeah, Guru, it's visible.
Okay. Thank you.
But it's not like, can you please make it in a full screen?
Okay, I have made it full screen, but I think there's some problem with the share. Okay. Let me do it. Okay. I think it's okay now.
No, actually, there are two screen in which I can see you, and another one is in which like you are showing the PPT.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's fine.
Cool. Uh, so yeah, like I told, Flutter is a framework. It's a cross-platform development tool, a framework which is developed by Google. So today's topic is cross-platform mobile application development, but you can develop web applications, desktop applications for Windows, for Mac OS, for Linux as well, with the same code base. So like the desktop application development is that not that much of famous in India. Not a lot of people learn it. So if you're learning it, you can also call yourself desktop application developers. And you can also apply for similar positions as well. So then I also told you that if you're coming from a .NET background, or if you're coming uh, from a Java background or JavaScript background, you can adopt Flutter easily. Why that? Because Google developed a specific programming language specifically for Flutter, which is the Dart programming language. The programming language name is Dart. So Dart is a kind of a child of JavaScript and Java. So you can use the similar syntax from JavaScript and Java with Dart programming language. I'll show you how. Flutter is open source. If you're good enough, you want to create your own library, which is created on top of Flutter, you can use it. It's open source. Faster development cycle. So the same application which you can develop using native Android, using Java, or native iOS. Let's say you will take 4 months to develop an application. You can develop the same application using Flutter within 2 months, which is literally the 50% of time, which is very effective in the startup ecosystem of India. Then super productive. If you guys have already had any experience or you have learned native Android or native iOS, if you haven't learned yet, so let me tell you, when you'll write any code, one line of code, and you'll run the application, it will take 10 minutes or 15 minutes to run. And then again, you'll write some code and you'll run it. It will again 5 to 10 minutes to run. So it's very slow to whatever you write, and you will just check it. So Flutter introduced a new term called hot restart. You'll write the code and you'll save it, and it will be displayed on the mobile application immediately without any further delay. So it will be very useful. You'll just write the code and you'll just preview it. You'll write the code, you'll preview it. So it will be very faster. So where you have to wait for 10 minutes after every 15 minutes or half an hour code write. You don't need to do that. You can just write it and you will just preview it right away. So it will save a lot of time. Easy to learn, code sharing. Of course, like I told about OOPS, it uses the knowledge of OOPS. UI designing is very easy and very beautiful. So you in any other programming languages, you get a lot of different community support where you can install the libraries, and you can use them to create beautiful components. But in Flutter, everything is state of the art. You get a lot of different widgets. We call widgets in Flutter. So we get a lot of widgets to use, a lot of animations right away, which you can directly use with 1 or 2 lines of code, and you can build beautiful UIs. Then widget libraries, yeah, the same thing I told you. Community support, like Google has a very big community. Like Priti introduced, I'm a Google Facilitator. So Google has a facilitator program where every time you'll get a new update in Flutter. So they call 20-25 individuals in India, and in every country they have some representatives whom they call, whom they understand, with whom they teach what is the new update about, how the developers can use it to leverage in their daily lives. And we go to different communities all over India and we give talks on the new updates. So there is a huge community support. Google has its own community, Flutter community. So if you'll go to Flutter, if you'll search Flutter community dev in Google, you'll find a specific dedicated website inside Google for Flutter community. So if you're finding any problem, you can search it in Stack Overflow. And of course, you guys know ChatGPT. You can just get it to get the answers done. You can use Google, and you can use any other forum is there available to support, and you'll get the support for Google Flutter. It's not like it's just a new framework and you'll just get started with it, and in the meanwhile, if you'll be stuck, there is no one to help you. No, you'll get a lot of response, lot of support from the community and the Google community. trust me, it's the best community in the world will get the support. So there are some famous applications which you'll see, which are built using Flutter. So yeah, this PPT is kind of old, 6 months old. So the applications, right now, if you'll use Google Pay, if you'll use any application given by Google, they are migrating everything to Flutter. So right now, you'll use Google Maps, you'll get the family app, you'll get YouTube. So every application from Google, they are just transforming their own code base to the Flutter code base because they want to set an example that Google is using it. So you can definitely trust it. The Stadia gaming platform, eBay, Dream11, a lot of big companies, Alibaba. So a lot of big companies are using Flutter to build their applications. Features of Flutter cross-platform app development, of course, easy access to native features. So what is native? So native is basically we call where we write separate code for Android, separate code for iOS. So you will ask me, sir, if everything is good with Flutter and React Native, all those frameworks, then why those native frameworks still exist? Because native applications are fast in adapting the sensor and hardwares of the system. Because the native framework is specifically built, let's say you're using Android 10.0 or Android 11.0 or Android 13.0, the native platform will give you specific APIs to use the specific platform, which is very good. And if you'll see the different sensors like gyro sensors, the gravity sensors, the accelerometer, different sensors are there in Android. If you want to use them, native is a very good choice. Then again, how we will use the same things in Flutter? So Flutter provides a unique breeze, a unique system where, let's say you fail, like, look, this feature is not there in the, this feature is not there in Flutter. This feature is not there in React Native. This feature is not there. It is there in native Android. You can just write your code in native Android using Java or any other language, and you can just call them in Flutter. So the people who are using native Android and the people who are using Flutter, so the people are not different. The people who are using Flutter are above all because they also can use the native features. They also can write one code base to use in different application. Minimal code in fast development, hot reload, yes. So that was a very quick uh, introduction about Flutter. So I'll jump right to the code, how to use Flutter, and I'll also show you that how to install Flutter. Let me share my screen again. Okay. So you can just search for Flutter and you'll go here, Flutter SDK. You can just go to Get Started and you can see Flutter is available for Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and Chrome OS. So you can just click on it and it will start downloading it. So it will ask you that choose your first type of application. So which type of application you want to start with? Because I have a Mac, it's showing me the iOS is recommended. So let me click on it and it will show you all kind of things. And you can click on the download and install. It will just download the right version supported for your Mac or your Windows. You can do the same thing with Windows. If you have a Mac, you will be able to build a iOS application. If you have a Windows, you can write the code, but you cannot build a iOS application because only Apple only supports building its applications in its devices. And you can build web applications for every platform. Once you download it, you'll open Android Studio. You can search for Android Studio, and you will be able to see the Android Studio here. So you can also download it right away, and you will be able to install it within very quick steps like next, 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 I accept, next, next, finish, like every other application you do. So you can download it. Then once you'll open it, you have to go to plugins, and you have to install a Flutter plugin. You have to search for Flutter, and you have to install it. And that's it. Then you'll be able to see a new Flutter project symbol here. You have to click on it. It will ask for the Flutter SDK path. You must have installed the Flutter from the link I just told you. Then you have to give the link, the file manager link for the first time, and you'll go next. I'll give a name. I'll give a name Guru app. A new Flutter project. You can give any description. You can put a location. Then project type, application, plugin, package, module, skeleton, API plugin, empty project, etc. I'll not go into it. We'll only go for application right now. You can learn for others right away after this meeting, after this session. Organization. What is an organization? So if I'll go and I'll open a Play Store, you'll see different applications. Oh, there is a 4G. I'll open it. So if you'll open any application in your browser, you'll be able to see the play.google.com/store/apps/details $ID equal to com.9.4G. So com.9.4G. This is called the package name. So every application you build, how the Android operating system will know that this is a different application. Because if you go to your Play Store or App Store, you'll search for a name, you'll get multiple applications with similar name or same name maybe. So how you will understand which is the right application? So for operating systems, we have to give a unique name for our application, which in technical terms we called package name. So the package name should be unique. So if you're giving a package name and you're uploading the application in the Play Store, no one else will be able to upload any application with the same package name. So it's unique. So how you will decide your package name? You cannot just randomly give anything. You can give a random package name, but that doesn't make sense. So how you will do it? So normally it's a good practice to give your reverse organization name. For example, my company's name is Smarters. My domain name is smarters.in. I have purchased this domain name smarters.in. So my domain name is smarters.in. So in the organization name, I'll give the reverse one, in.smarters. Why? Because the domain name is unique. No one else can purchase the Smarters domain name other than me. It already is having with me. So it's unique. So you can just give it. You can also give, if you're a student, if you want to create an application, you don't have a domain name, you can just write your name, com.xyz, com.your name. You can just write it out, no problem. For Android, Java, Kotlin, whichever language you want to choose, you can choose. iOS, you can choose Objective-C or Swift. So right now, we can just go with whatever default options we have. Then the platform, it is showing Android, iOS, Linux, macOS, web, Windows. A lot of platforms are available. So you can just choose whichever platform you want to build. If you're missing anything, you can also generate later on after creating the project. So right now I'm just checking all of them. Then module name. So this is the app name, Guru_app. So organization is in.smarters. Module name is guru underscore app. So my package name will be in.smarters.guru underscore app. Content root, module file location. So all those were basically the default things. You have to choose a file location in a file manager. I'll not go into it. Then I click on create and our application is getting created. Okay. Okay. So we are all set with the with our project, where you can see it created a project with the name I have given Guru underscore app. Inside it, different files, different folders were there. We'll go one by one. So just forget about this dot tool and dot idea folder. These are auto-generated folders by the IDE. You don't want to understand whatever written in it. Even I don't know most of it. So there's no need of learning it. There is an Android folder. There is an iOS folder. There is a Linux folder. There is a Mac OS folder. There is a web folder. There is a Windows folder. For every platform, you want to build a mobile application or application. There are different folders for every platform. Then there's a test folder where you can write your own automation test scripts, which will not go into it right now, but you can explore later on. Then there is a folder called LIV, which is the lead, the main, the soul, heart of our application. So in the LIV, you can see there is a file called main.dat. So dat is the programming language, like I told. If you already learned Java or JavaScript, so you don't need to learn anything else. Just at 2-3 places, there are some extra things which you can learn. But yeah, you can understand everything. So inside main.dat, there are a lot of different things which are generated. So we'll go into it. But before than that, I will just run the application. So for running the application, I can choose Chrome, Mac OS, or I can open a simulator, iPhone simulator, or I can connect my iPhone or Android phone to run the application directly. But I will just use Chrome because Chrome, it is very lightweight and it is very fast to develop using Chrome. I'll just run it. Okay. So you can see, so whatever is automatically generated is getting run in the Chrome, in the web. The same thing will be run on the iOS and Android as well. So it's a very simple Flutter demo page where there is a 0 mark, there is a plus icon. You click on it and it will 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So it's a very demo basic application which Flutter just auto generates to show you guys how it works. So I will just remove everything and I'll start from scratch to show you guys how Flutter works, how easy it is. So in every programming language like Java or C, you have a common thing which is called main method. In main method, you start everything, every code is getting started executing from the main method. So similarly in that, we have a main method where we will write our code. Then in Java, if someone will ask you any question about Java, let's say someone asks you, what is an object in Java? If you don't know the answer, you can just bluff Object is a class in Java. If someone will ask you, what is synchronization in Java? If you don't know what is it, you can just bluff. It is a class in Java. Because everything, every name is a class in Java. Even class is a class in Java. So you can just call it everything is a class in Java. Similarly, in Flutter, everything is a widget. If someone asks you something about Flutter and you don't know the name, you can just bluff. That's a widget. So widgets are of two types. One is a stateless widget, and second is a stateful widget. So we'll learn about stateless widget. We'll learn more about stateful widget later on, today only. So we have to start our mobile application. I will write class. I will name the class as my app, and I will write extends. Extends, I think everybody already know what is. You can extend a class. It is a feature of OOP inheritance. So I'll extend it with stateless widget. So there is an error. It is showing an error. I will click on Alt Enter. It will show me that, yeah, you have extended from stateless widget. So you need to override a compulsory method. So it's similar to Java. You can just do it and it will auto generate for you. So it is generating a new method called build. So this build method is the core of Flutter. You have to write your designs into it. So I will write return material app. What is material app? Like I told, everything is a widget. Material app is a widget. If you want to build an application, you need this material app widget. And in the main method, I will write run app. And inside it, I will write my app. And our application is done. That's it. In this many of lines, our application is done. I'll just run it. Oh, it's giving some error. So you have to stop it and rerun it. So we have created a class named my app. We extend it in stateless widget. Then we operate in the build method. And we return something called material app, which is a widget. So you can see it's a blank page. It's a blank thing. Why it's blank? Because we have not written anything. It's just a blank application. Then we'll create our first page. I'll write class home page. Extends. Same stateless widget. I'll override. For app, we need a widget called material app. Similarly, for page, we need a widget called scaffold. And inside the material app, there is a parameter or property called home. Home colon home page. And I will rerun it. It's still empty because we have not written anything inside the page. So inside the scaffold, there is a property called app bar. For app bar, we need a widget called app bar. Everything is a widget. Everything. So I'll write app bar. So the app bar is not showing here. Why? Background color. I'll write colors dot blue. So there is app bar. Then there is another property called drawer. There is a widget called drawer. I'll just write it. And you can see there is a hamburger symbol coming here. Let's click it. So within two words, within two of the properties, we have created something incredible, which will take us more than 50 lines of code using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then I will write a body. Inside the body, I'll write a text. Text is also a widget. So you can see it is coming high. Let's say I want to put two or three texts together. So there is a widget, another widget called column. Column is a widget which contains other widgets, multiple widgets vertically. Like we everyone know, column from top to bottom. So inside the column, there is children. Inside children, I can write text. Hi, text, hello, text, bye, and I'll write control S. Hi, hello, bye. Similar to column, we have another widget called row, which is similar to column, but horizontally. So we can build our complete design with rows and columns the using the row and column. So let's try to build something interesting, something you have already checked in different applications. Let's create a login page. So I'll just remove these things in the body. I'll place a widget called container. So what you have to do is you have to go after your classes, you have to learn different widgets and their work. And you can use them everywhere. So there's a widget called container, which is similar to the div in HTML, which can be customized to any form. So I'll put color. Yellow. In the container, in the child, I'll put a column. In the column, I'll put a children. In the children, I'll put a text box, a logo. So there's a widget called Flutter logo, which is from Flutter. Then there is another widget called text, where I'll write welcome. Then I'll put a text box. Text field. Then another text field, one for email, one for password. Then a button. So there are different buttons are there. In Flutter, I'll use elevated button. Then inside the button, I'll give a text called login. It looks okay, but it's looking still ugly. Then I'll put another text. Forgot password. Forgot password. So now let's beautify it. The logo, it's looking very small. and all the things should come on the center, right? This thing is looking very ugly. So in the column, there is a property called main axis alignment. I'll write main axis alignment dot center. So all those things will come to center. Then I'll make the logo big. Maybe bigger. Yes. Then I can make the text bigger and in bold. There is a property called style. Then there is a widget called text style. Everything is a widget. So I can put the size, font size as 30. Maybe let's see. Yes. Then the text boxes. They're literally from left to right. We should have a fixed padding from both the sides, fixed spacing from both the sides. So in the container, there is a term called padding. Or you can also do one more thing. In the container, you can hit Alt Enter and you can just, there's an option called wrap with padding. You can just write wrap with padding because padding is a widget. Everything is a widget. Let's see how it is looking. Okay, so the white color is showing because we have given the yellow color for the containers. I'll just remove it. I'll wrap the column with the padding. Under padding, there is different options. Edge insects dot all. All means you have to give padding from all directions. Edge insects dot only. If you write edge insects only, you can give separate spacing from separate sides. If you'll go give symmetric, you can write vertical or horizontal. So I need horizontal spacing of let's say 20. Let's say 32. Okay. Then after the text field, this button is basically, there is no spacing between this button and the text field. You can just give some spacing into it. So there is another widget called uh, nowadays we can write a container and you can give height of let's say 20. Yes, it's coming now. Same with the forgot password. So instead of container, we can write sized box. So you can see it's a good, very normal, basic login page, which is already prepared within 5 to 10 minutes of work. And you can also propagate the same. Then if I want to have some more extra designs inside the text field, there is decoration. Input decoration. coming like this. Same thing I can put inside it. There is no spacing between it. So I will put a sized box between them. Okay. And for the welcome as well. Okay. Now I want to give some hint. So every text box must have a hint. In the text field, there is a hint. Enter your email. In the second one, input your password. Now it is looking more beautiful. Then again, we'll decorate it more. In the input decoration, there is a prefix. Icons dot so I've given in the wrong one. Icons dot key. In the first one, we'll give icons dot mail. You can see it's looking like a real login page now. And I can also type a@a.com. In the password, you can write anything. But in the password, you always notice there will be a dot 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 or star 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 coming. So there is an option in the text field where you can just write obscure text true. So you can write anything here, but whenever you will write here, it will coming as dot. So also I'm just wanted to understand and to let you understand that it's not something you will learn it right away. I'm just showing you a small demo on how it works, how easy Flutter is, and how easily you can learn and you can build beautiful UIs under 30 minutes or 1 hour. So whatever I've done is not something a rocket science. You can just learn Flutter, and in the first 1 or 2 hours, you will be able to build something similar to it, and you can install it on your mobile app with the APK, which is a very proud thing to do for sure. So yeah, that is pretty much it for Flutter, and I will suggest everyone to go to after going back from this seminar, you just research, you just learn Flutter yourself first. You just get some basic understanding of Dart language. You get some basic understanding of what is mobile application development. Just check the story I told you from the beginning. You can see the full story out of it. It's very interesting how we evolved as technology people. And if you learn history, you will have a clear focus, a clear idea that where we are going. Maybe after 2 years, there won't be any people writing that much of code. Maybe we are using some other thing which will write our code, maybe AI. But we as humans need to learn the logic which will go for all the different languages. Like for example, like uh, I already learned more than 40 languages, but that doesn't mean I sat on a floor and I learned one by one everything, and I took courses for 40 languages. No, you just need to learn 2 to 3 or 4 languages maximum, and you have to start building something. You have to start developing some applications, and once you have built something which is usable for the users, that time you will know that yeah, you are ready. Then you can just jump to another technology. You just see that what how the flow is happening in another technology, another language. Definitely the syntax will be different, but the logic will be same. The if else, the for loop, the synchronous or asynchronous, the function, the method calling, the class object, all those things will be similar in all the different languages. You just need a day where you will know, you'll learn that what are the new things are there in this language, and you'll be able to understand. So it will be my suggestion for you to go and start learning about Flutter, install the Flutter, and uh, start preparing your own application. So I will be waiting for your message. You can connect with me as well over LinkedIn, and I'll be waiting for your messages. If you are building something and you are getting stuck somewhere or have built something incredible, you can just let me know. I'll be happy to know that yeah, I have told some people and I have referred some people about Flutter and they have built something incredible. It will be a proud thing for me to know. And if you are having any problem, anything, you can just reach out to me directly, and I will be able to help you around maybe within a day. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If anyone is having any questions, anything related to career in this specific technology or anything technical or anything, so I'm open to it.
Yeah, so can we move to the Q&A part?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I would like to request everyone kindly write down your questions in Q&A tab. And from my end, I am opening polls for the session feedback. Kindly fill that as well. So we have few questions, Guru.
Yes. I
Start
can
with
see
those.
it.
Okay. So first one is, what skills should a developer focus on to become a proficient Flutter developer in 2025?
So first skill, you have to be smart and you have to be outspoken. Other than learning the language, you have to learn language, but you have to be smart. You have to be logical, and you have to be outspoken, because in the technical world, building technology, building a software is 20% of the whole business. So everyone needs people who can help them create the solution, right? So you have to be solution oriented. You have to be smart, and yeah, you have to be outspoken. You have to speak your mind. If you'll just be quiet and you'll just do your work, no one will notice you. You have to speak. And other than that, yeah, you have to obviously learn Flutter that to be a good Flutter developer.
Okay. So another one is, how do you see the demand for Flutter developers evolving in the coming years?
So I'm very much interested in this question, because when Flutter was introduced in 2018, I was one of the few developers to try it out in alpha mode, and we have given our suggestions to Flutter team. And at that time, the developers which we have in the similar technology like in React Native and Ionic, so they were telling that no, there is no space for another language, another framework. No one will use it. And you can see in LinkedIn and in other forums, Flutter is dying. If you search the Flutter is dying, you'll see a lot of different posts. Flutter is dying. But Flutter is not dying. So people are just using it right now to trend their posts. You'll see there is a tagline Flutter is dying, but under that the complete content was opposite. So the demand is very much, and because it's backed by Google, So it is not going to be closed in any coming years. And it's very much useful because Google and some big companies are like switching their technology, their applications, migrating it to Flutter. Then definitely there is a very big impact. And right now we are speaking, Flutter is the number one mobile development framework, the number one in multiple senses, in GitHub, in Stack Overflow, in all the forums which you trust, you can go. You'll see Flutter as the number one. So yeah.
Another one is, what are the best resources for someone looking to master Flutter development?
Uh, so I will suggest two things. One is either if you have already learned some other mobile application development frameworks, maybe you can go for YouTube. You can just go for any official documentation if you're comfortable with that, or you can just have a grab a course and you can learn it. So one of the best tutorials I can suggest you is Pawan Kumar. You can search Pawan Kumar in YouTube. He is the first Flutter's Google developer expert from India. He's a very technical and good guy. He has a lot of examples. If you are already excel in other technologies, then you will be able to understand his topics and you will be able to grasp it. But else, you can just have some good course in different forums and you can get guidance and get started.
And what about the certifications? Like, what certification someone can go for?
Look, I'm not someone good for it because I don't will believe in certifications. I
Uh,
believe in skills. So if you are good enough, if you are speaking good, you're logical. I think without any certification, and you can get into any company.
okay.
So there is no official certification for Flutter yet
Mhm.
from Google. So any other certification, you can just take it. It's just for a name.
Okay. Okay, then let's move to another question. That is, what skills apart from Flutter should developers learn to become a full stack mobile developer?
Uh, yeah, apart from Flutter, like I told, if you want to build something which is very dependent on the drivers, mobiles, drivers, sensors, and then maybe Bluetooth, maybe Wi-Fi, all those things, then maybe you need to learn some basics of the native side of Android and native side of iOS. So sometimes, if some complex task was there, which is very lengthy and slow in Flutter, you can just write your own code in native Java or Kotlin in Android and Swift and Objective-C in iOS, and you can just connect it. But again, it's very specific. Uh, so you don't need to learn it, it's not compulsory. But that's pretty much it. Full stack mobile developer, you can say you are able to build any kind of mobile application. But if you're asking me about the full stack, everything, so you can, from the server side, you can learn any language. So some people say that Flutter is compatible with this technology, then Java is compatible with this
Yeah.
technology. So nothing like that. That's a complete myth, complete false, misinterpretation. You build APIs from the server side. So any technology you use, that doesn't matter. So you will get a link, you'll get a URL, which you have to connect in your mobile application. So any server side language you can learn, any database you can learn, and Flutter. There is no 1% of integration e- expertise with any specific technology. But from the beginning, if you don't know any server-side language, you can use Firebase, which is very free and from Google to connect, and you don't need to learn any new technology, and you can just build your cloud-based mobile application.
Okay, so thank you for the answer. Let's move to another one. How can Flutter developer improve their project management skill to lead cross-functional team effectively?
So the answer is not for specific to the Flutter. It's for all
Mhm.
the different technologies. You have to be solution specific. You have to be You have to be action oriented. You don't have to be a developer always. So development is just a tool. Software is just a tool. You have to solve the real life problems. For example, we have built a mobile application for Africa. So in a for a country where the economy is falling, it's in Ghana. So they wanted to build a fintech application where you can send money to each other. But in India, we have a lot of different applications, different libraries, a lot of different companies like Razorpay, Paytm providers are there. We can just integrate them and we can just build mobile applications within a month. But in Ghana, there is no other technology available such like that. So we have to communicate with banks, then we have to communicate with a lot of different things. So as a developer, I thought, yes, it will be a challenge for me. It will give me a kick to build such a platform. But again, in a second thought, as a business owner, as a solution architect, I thought that look, if I will give them an option to go and integrate with the banks, talk to them, the process will be lengthy. Maybe it may take years to get the licenses from the banks. Maybe we will not be able to give that much of security to them. So maybe we will build it somehow, but maybe we will not be able to give them the solution we want. So I told them, look, just do one thing. Let's go with PayPal. PayPal is there in Global. So let's use PayPal in the backend for now, and let's build your product. Once you start earning and you start earning in the side way, we can start building your application from scratch with the banks, collaborating with them. And that way, you will get the solution and you don't need to wait for this lengthy timeline. So to manage or to build any mobile application or any application, you have to be practical. You cannot go with your gut feeling with as a developer. You have to think like you are giving a solution. So whatever way possible, you have to give the solution first. Whether it will solve your the developer kick or not. Yeah.
Okay, so another question. What skills apart from Flutter should developer learn to become full stack mobile developer?
No, I think we have already gone through this.
Okay.
This
Okay. So
report.
we have last question with us. What are the most common beginner mistake in Flutter, and how can they be avoided?
Uh, so when we are learning Flutter, first we just learn Flutter for the first week or 10 days. Then we just start building our own application without any structure or any approach. You have to follow a specific structure. You have to follow the best practices for a developer, which a lot of people uh, I have experienced in India specifically are not observing the best practices. They don't write the variable names properly. They don't write clean code. They don't review their codes. So you have to do all those things to be a good developer, apart from learning Flutter. So yeah, that's
Okay, so as we are done with our Q&A session, I have a one question with, okay, so can you please help those like who are fresher, who's like new, help them with the roadmap that how they can enter this industry, or how like what they should do before entering the industry, and what things they should keep in their mind?
yes. So before entering into the industry, you have to know yourself better, that what you want to build, what you want to be. So yeah, you want to be a software developer. I got it. But inside software developer, what you want to be? So if you're a guy which is specifically very creative, you can be a UI UX designer and you can go for Figma or other design techniques. If you're good with building front end and you're logical as well, you can go with the front end. You can go with mobile. If you're good with web, you can just try it out. You can go with the web. Then again, in web there are different technologies. In mobile there are different technologies. Then if you're very logical and you build ugly designs, then you can go for the backend. You can go for the database. So if you're very logical. So and if you're not that much of logical in to write codes, but you're a good logical person, you know how to speak, you know how to give solutions. So you can become a business analyst, and you can be a manager as well, project manager as well. So you have to learn your strength, your weaknesses, and then you have to go with the specific specific field. So definitely, if you don't want to limit yourself in one industry, you can go with all, but you cannot just go with all from the very beginning. You have to go with one. You have to start building. Then in the journey, you will be able to learn because you will be working with in cross-platform teams. So you'll be able to understand their tricks, their language, their how they work. So always know your strengths, then go with a specific technology, go with one technology, build the product, then go to another, jump to another product. Someone will tell Python is trending, someone will tell React is trending, someone will tell Flutter is trending. No,
Yes.
man, everything is trending. The market is very big. We are hiring daily. Companies are hiring daily. And because as I'm a founder and we have been recruiting every day, I know the problem. It's not like everywhere there is berozgari. It's not like that. A lot of jobs openings are there, but we are not able to find quality resources because of this. Because people just go, they just learn, just do a course, and they come to us that look, I have the certification and hire me. And when we'll ask them a question, they don't know how to answer it. They just type in chat GPT in front of us. That doesn't make sense, right? Well, I will not hire you if you are just wannabe and you just have a certification and you just come to me without knowing anything, without building anything. You have to be practical oriented before going to if you will go to a company and if you'll tell them that, sir, I have built 5 applications, mobile applications which are live in the Play Store and is being served and is being used by real users, I guarantee you, I have experienced it myself. They'll not ask you this Fibonacci series, this logical questions. They will talk to you like friends. They'll ask you, how did you do it? What was the challenges? How will scale it? All those things. And definitely, as you have built it, you'll be able to answer all those. And you'll be crack interviews in no time. So always try to be practical oriented, build certain things. And it's not like any one technology is trending at a moment, but you have to go with one. So I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, then thank you, Guru, for delivering such an insightful session today. Even I also enjoyed the session. I'm not a technical person and I still enjoyed the session. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank everyone who joined us. Thank you for being a part of this learning experience. If you have still have any question, please feel free to reach out to us or connect with Guru directly, and the session recording will be available on our Shine.com's YouTube channel and LinkedIn account as well. So you can revisit it anytime. We looking forward to you having you join us again in upcoming session. Until then, take care, keep learning, and have an amazing day. Once again, thank you so much, Guru. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Take care.